Hi, we'll continue on the book of Romans. Uh, been some time, so I'm not sure when we will end, but let's go on a journey rather than trying to achieve certain milestones, so to speak. So let me read Romans chapter 10, verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace, who bring glad tidings of good things. Romans 10, verses 14 and 15. In this message, I would, Romans 10, 14, 15, I will probably have I think about at least four clips, okay, four clips. And there are three themes interwoven, linked together, interconnected together. And these three themes are the lovers of the gospel, the goers of the gospel, and the givers of the gospel. So remember that the gospel is about the death and resurrection of Christ. And we will see how these three persons was intricately linked, having an important part in the death and resurrection of Christ. So the first one is Mary, sister of Martha and Lazarus. And John chapter 12, verse 3 to 8. Let me read. Okay. Then Mary took a pound of very costly oil of spikenard, right? Anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, why was this fragrant oil not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor? Your passion and your love for the Lord, and you may spend time, and people will say, hey, you're wasting time. You can have actually go out and do something useful with your time rather than just spending time waiting on the Lord. Remember, this is the same Mary who sat at the feet of Jesus while her sister Martha was busy doing things, because it was legitimately required. Their guests are coming. You have to be a good host in the culture, and also it's responsibility. But so you can judge Mary to say that she's not responsible. In this sense, she's having kind of the same treatment because she saved, right, her the oil of spikenard, right, and she broke the alabaster box, and this oil was like a life savings, and she would probably reserve it for her wedding night. Okay, and those days, the economy of those days is the husband, right? Husband, the breadwinner. So when a woman married, it's husband will be supporting her. So her life savings, is okay for her to just spend it. Her life savings, the costly fragrant, the oil, to just lavish it to bless her husband, right? So this is the relationship between the bride and the bridegroom. We will cover further in the next clip. Let me read verse 6. This he said, not that he cared for the poor, and speaking of Judas, but because he was a thief and had the money box. and he used to take what was put in it. But Jesus said, let her alone. I need to slow down. Time isn't. Time is the essence, but I need to slow down. Let her alone. She has kept this for the day of my burial, right? The death of Christ. Right. So, and we no need to read verse 8. It's not connected to what we are saying, our message here. So, Mary represents the lovers of the gospel. She was preparing Jesus for his burial, and that is part of the gospel, the death and resurrection of Christ. And no, we lavish ourselves in our devotion to God, in praise and worship, and just spending time with God. And in our culture today, it's about doing things, getting results. And the greatest result that you can ever bring, okay, that is apart from bringing souls to Christ, is giving pleasure to the Lord. You know, God is having pleasure. So is the expectation of society, people around you, versus the pleasure of the Lord. That the Lord takes pleasure in your love for him, in your lavish devotion for him. Now, the second person is Mark chapter 15, verse 21. Okay. Okay, let me read. Then they compelled a certain man, Simon a Cyrenian, the father of Alexander and Rufus, as he was coming out of the country and passing by, to bear his cross. So Jesus was too weak by then, and the Romans had a deadline. I need to finish my job. I had to go back home by 5. Jesus was so slow. Okay, get somebody to help him to carry the cross so that we can get it done and over with quickly. So Simon of Cyrene was there, and he was called Simon a Cyrenian. And Cyrene is a place in northern Africa, eastern Libya. So Simon came from far away, and he didn't take a flight, okay? So that's a joke here. And if far, consider far, it might not be very far from northern Africa from eastern Libya to Jerusalem now, by plane or by vehicle, right? But for people without the modern technology that we have today, it's considered a distance. And this Simon helped to carry the cross of Jesus, was part of the death, all right, of Christ, the gospel. So Simon represents the goers of the gospel. And let's read Matthew 27, 57 to 60. I got to be fast. Now, when evening had come, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who himself had also become a disciple of Jesus. This man went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be given to him. When Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his new tomb. So Joseph of Arimathea was quite well off. He had his own tomb, right? A big rock. They dig into the big rock, and create a tomb, right? And laid it in the new tomb which he had hewn out of the rock, and he rolled a large stone against the door of the tomb and departed. So Simon of Arimathea gave the tomb to Jesus for Jesus' burial. And this is again, right, And you know, Jesus resurrected, right? At the place. So Joseph of Arimathea represents the givers of the gospel. So Jesus had helped, right, in a way, to really bring the gospel, right, to the world. Mary represents the lovers of the gospel. Simon, goers of the gospel. Joseph, givers of the gospel. And Ecclesiastes 4:12. Let me read. Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. So, in the church today, right, the lovers of the gospel, the goers of the gospel, and the givers of the gospel must come together and complement one another and to serve for the mission of the gospel. The givers give because they love God, and the lovers are the people who feel that love. They really love God and really love God and as such a lavish love, a devotion, a passion for God. And the givers need some of that. Because the reason the givers give because they love God, and not just about money, it's about their devotion to God as well. They give from their heart. So the lovers and the givers, the lovers bless the givers, and the goers need the financial support of the givers, right? So how can the goers go unless they are financially supported? And the goers also go because they love Jesus, right? And also they need to be recharged and renewed by being together with the lovers of the gospel. So they are together. So we will continue the next clip and after next and after that. So God bless you.